What were two, three aha moments, realizations that really changed the way you look at life or the way you look at business?
For the biggest shift I've had with my life is recognizing that people are the most important thing in my life, right? And that really taps into, what is my biggest goals? And then for work, I remember when I realized that communication wasn't about communicating information. It was about communicating value. If you want to be persuasive, nobody cares about your ideas. They only care about the value of your ideas. So when I realized this, it just changed the way I communicated. So I started communicating instead of trying to aim for more clarity, which is fine, but it's just a very low bar that's not influential. I started aiming for demonstrating the value of what I'm doing. So important, particularly if you're like in an office space and you want to get promoted. Don't just say what you're doing, say why what you're doing is important. And then number 3 is, I think, really the discovery of personal power, really understanding this vehicle of dynamic between people, this invisible dynamic. Why do some people show up big? Why are some people small? Why do we, when we walk in the room, we know who's got power? We know who's sort of like the runt of the group in that moment. What is this? And I think when I began to see it through the science, I was just like, oh, wow. Because then you realize your worth in a group is much more a function of your behaviors than it is a function of some fundamental aspect about you. In fact, it has nothing to do with your who you are and your identity. It has to do with how you show up. And I think a lot of times, because people sometimes struggle with self-worth, they withhold their voice. And it's the act of withholding their voice because they don't value themselves that then other people get the signal this person's low status because they're not having a voice in the group. And so we just create this kind of self-fulfilling prophecy that we project our low self-worth through our behaviors in ways that then reinforce other people treating us in a way that gives us evidence that we're not worthy. But it's just all bullshit, because it's like, excuse my language, it's just, we recreated that scenario. And so once you really see, here are the behaviors of high power and low power, it doesn't matter what you think about yourself. If you just act in the behaviors of high power, you'll begin to respect yourself more, which is nice. But then people will just respect you because it has nothing to do with your self-worth.